Ramix back with another video. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, as that would be deeply appreciated. And we begin this video with a thanks to each and every one of you watching the video, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Thank you. And if you aren't subscribed already, it would be an honor if you did subscribe to the channel, as I want to hit 25,000 subscribers before Christmas. And I think that I am kind of close to doing that. With that being said, I pick up exactly where the last Rediff left off to give you a quick recap of, well, how it ended off. Sasuke would beg Naruto to train him. As, well, a little bit after that, Sasuke and Naruto would have some dialogue. If you have all this power, why didn't you teach me a lesson 6 months ago when I was attacking? Or is this an every once in a while kind of thing, where you have chakra now and then don't have chakra some other time? It's my chakra, Sasuke. I realized some time ago that it's much stronger than normal people's chakra, denser too. Now, I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but it was a blender. It's done ringing now. I apologize if that distracted you. With that being said, Naruto continued. Besides that, Sasuke, I have only one question. Do you hate me? Sasuke would pause, remembering when Itachi told him his hate wasn't strong enough for him. Sasuke would shed a tear as his Sharingan would reach its second Tomoe. Naruto would smile. You didn't give me an answer, Sasuke. And I also have no clue what you're thinking about right now. But if it makes you happy, I can make my eyes red too. Naruto would tap into his inner rage, showing Sasuke's eyes. With that being said, this has been Rami X. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and with that being said, Rami X out. That was where I left off the last video, and we can now pick up from where I left off. A black mass of chakra now surrounded Naruto, as he revealed his inner rage to Sasuke. As Naruto realized the shift in his own aura, he looked at his palms, which he quickly clenched in his rage. His eyes then turned a grayish black as he approached Sasuke, looking him in his eyes. With that, Sasuke's eyes remained still, out of the pure fear that he felt for Naruto in that moment. With that, Sasuke didn't move an inch. There was nothing he could do. He had never seen such power, and Naruto was already far out of his league. And with so much chakra coming off of Naruto, Sasuke wouldn't even be able to run from Naruto. Now, how did Sasuke even deduce that Naruto was trying to hurt him? Well, it was the chakra. It felt so menacing. But even so, Sasuke's own human instinct forced him to run as fast as he could. So fast that for a second, Naruto couldn't even see him. But it was then that black hands began to form for Naruto's chakra, latching onto Sasuke's body. As Sasuke swiftly lost balance, he then felt his chakra being sapped from his body. Slowly but surely his two Tomoe Sharingan faded, and Naruto now had the Sharingan present within his own eyes. But this was only for a moment that neither of them had. Soon, Sasuke could see them in Naruto's eye, the Sharingan, as they then disappeared. Naruto didn't even realize what he was doing as he walked closer and closer to Sasuke, the Sharingan now no longer within his eyes. With each step he took, the ground around him broke slowly. Eventually he made it to just a few inches away from Sasuke's face, as he drew his blade. Naruto's chakra quickly flowed to the blade, as if it was built for his chakra, as his blade quickly turned black, smoke now surrounding it. He slowly lifted his blade. It was clear to Sasuke now that Naruto had no control over his actions, as he noticed two teardrops form and fall from Naruto's left eye. It was then that only his right arm rose, grabbing onto his sword tightly. As it rose, slowly coming closer and closer to Sasuke's neck. Sasuke gasped, holding his breath as he could only pray that he'd, by some stroke of luck, die a painless death. So he prayed to something. It wasn't clear what, but he did. It was then that he remembered the legend of the Sage of Six Paths. As he sat, closing his eyes tightly, with sweat trickling down his forehead, he prayed, "Oh, Sage of Six Paths, please, allow me a painless death." He prayed over and over again, repeating it in his head. It was then that he felt the touch of the blade. It was cold. And Sasuke felt his heart skip a beat. It was unreal how it felt. He actually couldn't describe it. The pain then began to come, as he felt the sharpness of the blade's edge touch his skin, slowly digging into it, and soon enough he felt the warmth of his blood dripping down the blade. And then he felt nothing. Nothing at all. Sasuke was now dead, but not quite. Naruto had drained his body of most of its blood, and Sasuke had, technically speaking, died. But for some odd reason, Sasuke was still alive, as if in an outer world, a limbo of sorts. It was as if his soul remained alive, but his body was now dead. And so he wandered aimlessly through a deep black void, until stumbling into an old man. As the person that Sasuke had, technically speaking, not known of. What I mean by that is he didn't really know who this man was, but, you guys will figure out very, very soon. It would then be clear to Sasuke that this man was quite old, as he appeared to hover just slightly. With that, he quickly embraced the man, as it was the first man that he had seen in ages, as he smiled. He had never seen someone in the void for what felt like, eons. Although a little stunned at first, the old man quickly warmed up to Sasuke's presence, with little reluctance, and it soon became clear that the man's intentions were good, and only good. With that, another man appeared. He was younger in appearance, but his attentions seemed mixed. Sasuke felt himself being pulled in closer to the man, as if by a gravitating force, and eventually he had to physically remove himself from the young man's arms. And then, the man disappeared. As Sasuke then asked the old man of his name, it turns out the old man was actually the Sage of Six Paths. What? No way you're real. No. The Sage of Six Paths, like Hagoromo? The god of all shinobi? That is the name that they use for me in the mortal world. So yes, I do exist. Wow. You don't know how cool it is meeting you, but also how sad it is. If I'm seeing you now, it means I'm dead. Well, not necessarily. Huh? What do you mean? Well, due to your death, you are now stuck in limbo. But if you choose the choice of living, I could restore your body, and you would rise with newfound strength to battle Naruto, the current reincarnation of Asura. Asura? Who the hell is that? Hagoromo would then go on to explain the story of Indra and Asura, and how they are reincarnations of his two sons. It would be then that, Hagoromo himself would go on to explain the story of Kaguya and even Hamura. With that, Hagoromo held out his hand to Sasuke, outstretching the moon seal. Sasuke would then hold hands with the sage, as he would be pulled back into his own body. His neck hurt, as his eyes were still tightly shut. He slowly opened them as they fluttered open. He then saw Naruto standing over his body, his hands covering his eyes, as his left eye was still visible. It appeared to be completely blue, as his right eye appeared to be completely black. He could see tears flowing from Naruto's face, as he could also see the compassion in Naruto's eyes. It would be then that Naruto noticed Sasuke's eyes shift open, as he unsheathed his blade of lightning speeds, ready to cut into Sasuke's body once more. It would be then that Sasuke's moves were, too fast for Naruto to see, disappearing for a moment before reappearing at an even faster speed. It would be then that he would slam his leg into Naruto's back. For a second, Naruto felt pain, but the pain was quickly numbed as his eyes filled with tears. He then stared into Sasuke's eyes, as Sasuke tried to punch Naruto, but he wasn't fast enough. With his reaction times being slowed by just a few seconds, due to him locking eyes with Naruto. He was now in such a state that, well, it was hard for Sasuke to look at him. As Sasuke then used the power given to him by Hagoromo to attack Naruto. This time he came for an assault from above, rushing into the air at lightning speeds, far faster than Naruto could see. As Naruto would fall to the ground, Sasuke didn't realize, but his lightning-fast hand chop that he now sent flying towards Naruto was strong enough to leave a gaping gash in Naruto's back. As Naruto fell to his knees, smoking hot flames now burst on Naruto's body as they quickly lit themselves out with the coming winds, which ever so slightly grazed Naruto's body. It was then that just smoke lifted off of Naruto's body, as he had appeared to have passed out. Sasuke, with purple chakra emanating off of him, moved toward Naruto, picking him up, as it would be then that Naruto would open his eyes. Now on Sasuke's back, he spoke. "Thank you, Sasuke. If it weren't for you, I'd be dead. But either way, I believe I'll die soon." I couldn't possibly bear the thought of. Naruto's voice trailed off as he took Naruto home. Within Naruto's own mind, he was now talking to the young man who Naruto had no idea that Sasuke had met before. The young man who Sasuke had resisted his touch. The young man had actually made a proposal to Naruto that through allowing Sasuke to live, Naruto would only have to take on all of the pain that he had experienced, or rather that he had inflicted upon others. And upon taking in that pain, if he were to survive, balance would be restored and Naruto would be allowed to live whatever life he chose. It would be then that he disappeared into nothingness and his subconscious grew black and dark. With that, the coming days of Naruto and Sasuke hanging out with each other, it was, well, awkward to say the least. They didn't talk much about that day. All they said were small things that hinted at it, but they never truly spoke about how they felt about that day. Each of them having varying opinions. And Naruto couldn't ignore it either. Sasuke was now leagues above him in strength if he wasn't using his God Chakra. And he feared that using his God Chakra, due to, well, that day, already added stress to beat Sasuke. With that being said, the fear of becoming a monster far outweighed the feeling of competitiveness that rushed throughout Naruto's veins. 3 more days passed, as Naruto was out training alone. As he passed out, Sasuke at this point was actually watching Naruto, as he would see Naruto's body fall to the ground. As soon as this happened, he rushed towards his friend, well, Naruto, to take him home, and then it was then that he would stand to his feet. This was odd to Sasuke, as before becoming visible in Naruto's sight, he disappeared, grabbing his own arm in discomfort as he felt chills rushing down his own spine. The same chills he felt all those days ago, when Naruto, well, wasn't himself to say the least. It was then that Naruto rushed towards a nearby body of water, as he slowly walked in, completely submerging himself in the water. The water then started to bubble around Naruto as he moved ever so closely towards a deep light within the body of water. It would be then that Sasuke felt himself amazed by how pretty the water was, as he felt himself rushing towards it as well, slowly but surely. And once he touched the water, his body grew completely limp. I said wimp, but I meant limp and numb, as he fell right into the water, now completely submerged in water, rushing into, well, I guess you could say his air path, as his mouth was wide open, unable to close it due to his body being completely numb and limp. With that, he was guided to a light, which he was somehow able to follow. But as soon as he tried to not follow the light and, say, swim back up, his body grew limp once more. And so he chose that, well, going to the light was the best option. It was there that he saw Naruto with a huge orb in front of him that emanated with light, and the young man who he saw when he was dead. He then listened in on their conversation, barely able to make out the words, as he eventually heard Naruto say that he must do it to protect Sasuke. And it was then that Sasuke put together that whatever he's doing is to save him. So he rushed in towards the two of them, the light of the orb blinding Sasuke for a moment, as he activated his Sharingan, ready to cut the man's head clean off with his blade. Before he could, the man spoke. "My name is Concise. Or rather, Konkais. Konkais Otsutsuki. And your friend here has a unique power that transcends the chakra of even us Otsutsuki. I see us Otsutsuki as living gods, but I have never worshipped a god in my life, not even a deity. But if I were to worship one, I would worship this human boy, Naruto Uzumaki, because his chakra far surpasses the level of even my own. And as you know, young Uchiha, everything must have a balance. The balance here is that he must take on the pain of others that he has inflicted. And so, within this gigantic orb is all of the damage that Naruto has caused and afflicted upon someone else, including the damage that he has done to you, Sasuke Uchiha. And if I recall, that damage was enough to kill you, if my memory serves right. Ah, yes, it does. You were dead, revived by Hagoromo Otsutsuki himself, son of Kaguya. Well, anyways, the historical factors don't really matter. You were revived by the Sage of Six Paths, and now stand here before me, due to the damage that Naruto inflicted upon you. Naruto will slam his hands through the orb, as the atoms within it will merge with Naruto's hands, allowing his hands to pass through it. It will be then that Naruto will feel all of the damage that he has inflicted upon others. And if Naruto is to survive this ordeal, all is dandy. Naruto may choose to live his life however he wishes. I have no qualms how he lives his life past this point. But as for right now, Naruto is faced with an ordeal. He must take on this pain. And as Naruto was about to push his hands through it, he did. But beside him, beside his hands, were Sasuke's hands, both now submerged in the orb. Naruto, I couldn't allow you to take on so much pain alone. So Sasuke, no. You fool. So I took on the pain with you. I had to. Or you would have died, wouldn't you have? It would have been just fine. What? You idiot. I'm sorry. I thought I was helping. You colossal moron. It would be then that Sasuke and Naruto's bodies fell to the ground. Naruto was barely able to move, but he could see Sasuke, who was in no better predicament. Sasuke's body was completely still, as blood was everywhere, and smoke quite literally protruded from Sasuke's mouth. A spume of smoke, to be exact. Naruto didn't know what to do. For all he could tell, they were both on the verge of death already. This is where we will be ending the part, I know. This is a very short video, about like 20 minutes in length, 19 minutes or so, something like that. The last part was close to this time, so I just wanted it to be roughly the same. Just for this series, not all series are going to be close to the same length. One video may be 20 minutes, the other may be 40. It really just depends. Anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, as that would be deeply appreciated. And road to 30K.